Hi guys, it's Albert the Analyst. Back with another video. So I wanted to begin a series where I would discuss prospective athletes, whether that be athletes who I feel if they do things a bit differently than what they're currently doing, they could become world beaters, or it might be regarding some athletes who were previously world beaters and have kind of just kind of fallen back a bit from that, and there are things that I think they could do in order to become world beaters once more. To kick off my series, I actually wanted to start with, I kind of come in with a banger, which would be beginning with Elaine Thompson-Herah. Of course, Elaine Thompson-Herah is the most technically sound sprinter I've ever seen, with a male, female, 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters. Elaine's form is beauty in motion, beauty in motion. They call her the big machine because it's like a well-oiled machine just running. I felt it would only be right to start with one of the greatest sprinters of all time. Now, of course, Elaine Thompson-Herah emerged to the scene in 2015, I would say, when she got that silver medal behind what's her name? I'm forgetting her name. The European lady. Daphne Shippers, right? Yes. She got silver behind Daphne Shippers. She ran 21.6 to do so. That was a very, very great race, by the way. She also won gold in the 4x1 in 2015, where she was on the third leg and passed to Shelly, and that is why I feel like Elaine would be is a terrific third leg runner. And I really would have loved to have seen her on the third leg in Tokyo in 2021. I feel like had Elaine been on the third leg in Tokyo with Shelly on the second leg in Tokyo, would have broken the world record. So, that's when Elaine emerged in 2015. Then 2016, Elaine decided to step down to the 100 while still doing the 200. So, she did the double. She won the double at the national trials. And then she did the double at the Olympics, and she won the double at the Olympics. For the 100 meters, she had no competition. She ran, I believe it was 10:71 to win that one. And then for the 200, the only competition was Daphne Shippers, but she beat Daphne. She did very well in 2016. Now, in 2017, she was going good all season. And then, when the championship came, unfortunately, she just couldn't find it. And then, 2018, and then, between 2018 and 2019, we heard about the Achilles injury, which, offset her entire career, actually. Especially in 2019, where, again, she won at the trials, she beat Shelly, and they both clocked that 10:73. She was doing so well. Of course, Shelly, in her own right, was doing very well on the circuit, running 10:7s and such. But you at least expected Elaine to be someone who would, to be the only person, actually, to put a fight to Shelly and maybe even beat Shelly at the World Champs in 2019. But unfortunately, she was run out of the medals because she came fourth behind Talou, Dina, and Shelly. And then, in 2020, I believe it was Elaine who clocked the fastest time that year with a 10:85. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then in 2021 comes. Shelly becomes the fastest woman alive. She wins the double at the trials. Elaine comes third in the 100 and the 200. And you're like, is this Shelly's Olympics? Then, before the Olympics, Elaine slapped Shelly with a 10.71. And, we were like, right? So, Elaine, kind of gets her lick back in a way in Hungary when she beat Shelly with that 10.71. Then, boops, here we are in the Olympics. They go through the heats totally fine. Semi-final comes, Shelly runs at 10.73, Elaine runs at 10.76, and you're like, ooh, these are clearly the favorites. Now, of course, both of them, despite running that fast, you could see that they had more in the tank. But some would argue that Elaine's 10.76 looked so much easier than everybody else, Shelly's own 10.73, right? And so you were like, well, let's see what the final brings. And then, boom, the gun goes off, and 10.61 into a minus 0.6 headwind while pointing at the clock. Now, persons like myself believe that Shelly could have run 10.6 low as well, had she not, gotten that hiccup at the start. But honestly, proper execution or no proper execution, Elaine was not going to lose that race at all. Elaine could have run 10.5 in that race had she run straight through the line and dipped. Even if Shelly had run 10.62, 10.63, 10.64, that would have not been enough to beat her. So persons always say, what could have been, but I don't believe Shelly would have won that either way. And then, of course, the 200 meter comes. She did what she did in the heats to get to the semis. Now I think that Elaine realized that she wasn't in the best spot in this in the semis. She was in lane 8, and of course you want to get a great lane in the final. And so Elaine dropped her personal best. I believe she equaled her personal best in the semis. Went to the final, decimated the field with that 21.5. I think it was 21.53. So she rose out of the flame of her own defeat and injury in 2021 to become the double treble Olympic champion. And so it was just so beautiful seeing Elaine come back to where we know she can be. And then 2022 comes, and we hear that she's left MVP, and we're like, oh my god, whoa, okay, where's she going? She goes to her husband. And as fans, we're like, okay, we're gonna trust in you that you're doing the right thing, that you know what you're doing. And she runs 10.79 for her season's best. She runs 10.81 to get the bronze medal at the World Championships in 2022. She gets a silver medal with the team for the 4x1. And you're like, okay, she's a bit slower, but she's doing her thing. And then 2023 comes and she doesn't even break 11 seconds at trials. And then you have to ask yourself, was leaving MVP the best thing for Elaine? Was it the best thing? And that's a question that who answers that question, and what's the answer? Because I heard whisperings that it was because of monetary reasons, where they felt like Elaine and her team, or her husband I guess, felt like MVP was collecting just a bit too much money, and they want to keep the money in the family. That's those are rumors I heard. For example, it could I've always said that Frano has a personality that might not mesh well with everybody's. I know for sure that he would rub me the wrong way every time. He and I would not get along. I know that much. So it could be that where she was just tired of his attitude, because I know I would be. I already am, and I'm not with Frano. As shout out to Frano, big props to him, but his disposition is not one that I would ever work with, to be honest. Anyways, yeah, she leaves MVP. Coached by her husband in 2022, I'm like, okay, fine. 2023 comes, she doesn't break 11. I'm like, okay, Elaine, it's clear that 2022 was you feeding off of the fumes of your 2021 season. Your husband might not be the best fit for you. What are we going to do? Elaine goes to Sha'Carri Osborne, and within like 2 months, Sha'Carri brings her from not going sub 11 to 10.79. I'm like, okay. Do you guys remember that gradual progress to the 10.79? I think Elaine ran like an 11 low, then a 10.9, then a 10.8, then a 10.7. That progress was, chef's kiss. And I'm like, yes, Sha'Carri has the formula, and she's gonna work on Elaine, and Elaine is gonna make a comeback. And then we hear that negotiations break down. Elaine and her husband feel like Sha'Carri is asking for a bit too much as compensation for coaching her. She wants a certain percentage that they don't feel that she should be getting. And honestly, I'm gonna give my opinion. I believed that this lady brought you to 10.79 within 2 months. Anything she asks for, she get. And that's what I believed. I believe that if you feel like you don't want to be at MVP anymore, and after Frano actually said out of his mouth that he would not take Elaine back, I would pay her anything, because the truth of the matter is, what would you prefer? To pay her, for example, 20%, and you get to collect 80% of, let's say, $1 million US. So for example, she would get what? You would get 800,000, she would get 200,000. Or would you prefer to get no money at all? Or would you prefer to get way less money because you didn't perform as well as you could have had you had a insane coach like a great Sha'Carri Osborne, who she's great to me. You get what I mean? So unfortunately, negotiations broke down. They decided to part ways. And of course, it's obvious that a lot of that influence that led to Elaine having that breakdown in negotiation was because of Elaine's husband. And I'm here to give my opinion. In my opinion, I feel like Elaine should have said to her husband, babe, I love you, but the millionaires are talking. Can you like just step out while the millionaires talk, please? And then do that negotiation with Sha'Carri and come to a conclusion with Sha'Carri. That's what I believe should have happened. And especially after seeing how Sha'Carri has been managing McLeod's injuries, as you know, our 400-meter runner, Candice McLeod's injuries, and you know, Candice is still performing well considering her injuries. Brian Lavelle, 1979 with a plus 2.5, 9.82. You know, so Sha'Carri has been doing very well with her current athletes, and so I just can't help but wonder, had Elaine stayed, could Elaine probably be at 10.5 right now? Could Elaine have gotten the world record? Because if she can bring Elaine to 10.79 in a 2 month, give the lady a year, 2 year, and world record would have probably the back pan Elaine books. You get what I mean? So it's that's what I believe. I believe that Elaine should have stayed with Sha'Carri, and I believe that Elaine should go back to Sha'Carri. And I don't, you know, time heals all things, I believe. This is business. This is business. If I said I wanted 5 million and you turned me down in the past, and you come back to me and you're offering me 5 million again, I am taking that money. So I would be disappointed if Elaine, for example, were to go back to Sha'Carri and say, hey, I would like for you to coach me, and Sha'Carri were to turn her down. Because Sha'Carri, girl, I'm money. Take the money. Elaine, I'm money. Make your money. Make your money. And if you have to give Sha'Carri a little piece, you give Sha'Carri a little piece. And if you have to give Sha'Carri a big piece, you give Sha'Carri a big piece. Because when you break your world record, or you run a world lead, or you run a meet record or a Diamond League record, you know that you make a lot of money. Don't look at what she's making. Look at what you're making. Look at your legacy. Sometimes it's not even about the money. It's your legacy. It's you. You get what I mean? So I'm hoping for so much for Elaine. I have heard some rumors. I cannot tell you guys about those rumors. Just know that Elaine will be making a big comeback. Now, that comeback can be one of massive magnitude if Elaine goes with a coach who can coach her properly, splendidly, like I believe that Sha'Carri can. Or it might be for a lesser magnitude, but still enough for us to notice. I cannot wait to see how Elaine maneuvers next season, because most likely she won't be active this season. But guys, sometimes you have to let bygone be bygone, and sometimes you have to remember that it's his business. You know, they say all is fair in love and war. All is fair in business. You know, I might have turned you down yesterday because I got a better offer from another competitor, but no, you just might be the best competitor for me because you have shown me your work through other clients, and now I want to be a client of yours, even though I turned you down in the past. So I really hope that can happen, or it might not happen, but I want the best for Elaine Thompson-Herah, and I know that Elaine wants the best for Elaine, and I hope that Elaine knows that, Elaine, this is your career. It's not your husband's. It is no man's. It is no mother, no father, no brother, no sister. It is your career, Elaine, and I want for you to do the best for you, regardless of your husband's opinion or input, regardless of anybody's opinion or input, even mine. I want the best for Elaine Thompson-Herah, and I can't wait to see what she does. This is a lady who she's inspired so many, while, of course, Shelly is, you can say that Shelly is Jamaica's darling. There are so many women and men who resonate with you, Elaine Thompson-Herah. Your drive, your quiet confidence, your being introverted. Because a lot of persons, they're introverted and they're like, well, I like Elaine because Elaine is an introvert and Elaine still gets the job done, versus, for example, Shelly who is more so extroverted and still get the job done. But a lot of the times you resonate with a person who reminds you of you. You remind a lot of us, Elaine. Not all the time am I an extrovert. Sometimes I'm introverted and I feel like an Elaine where I know I'm great and I don't need to always talk about it. But then sometimes I feel like Shelly where like I'm great and I'm bubbly. You know what I mean? So I love all our athletes. I love Elaine, Shelly, Sharika. All of them. All I know. I love all I know. So I always want the best for you guys. So yeah, that's my thought.